Hi students, last video we have seen what is tragedy of the commons. In this video, let us see what is the solution to this tragedy of the common. We have possibly three solutions for it. One is privatization of the property. So when a property is made private, the owners will have an incentive to keep others off their property, right? Others just like that, they cannot come and have their fruits and go back, right? So this will limit the number of users, and when the number of users are limited, then we start using the property sustainably. So sustainable use of property is possible, right? And finally, in turn, this may benefit them in the future. And this approach is possible only as long as the property is small. If it is larger, then it is difficult to control the trespassers. As long as the property is small, we can think about privatization of the property to avoid the tragedy of the commons. Second solution is regulating the public property. There are certain property which cannot be privatized, that need to be kept as public. So how can we save that property? By regulating it, by giving access or right to the people to use it. Hardin allows us to allocate the access in different ways. First one is on the basis of merit. Second one, first come first serve basis, and third one on the basis of auction system. So fishing and all is maintained on the basis of auction system. So whoever takes the action, he will be hunting the fishes. Next year it may be a different person who may be using that, okay, who may be utilizing that resource. First come first basis, how it works. See, there is a carrying capacity, say we have a park, and every day the park carrying capacity is say 50 persons who can enjoy the nature over there for 1 hour. It means then whoever comes first is allowed in, and whoever comes last has to wait for his turn for tomorrow or the next day, right? So first come first basis, and there are certain areas where we have to follow on the merit basis. Certain area, certain things, certain people who have to be given rights all the time on the basis of merit. And while these things, giving access to public property may not look like a good one, but it is necessary, or it is very essential to ensure the conservation of that property or the resource. So we have to use the resource sustainably, means we have to get into such action of regulating the public property. Third one, holding property communally. So if the small group of people are utilizing that resources, then we can give the property, holding the property in a community. Okay, just like inshore fisheries, shellfish beds, rangelands. If everyone in the community has an equal right to the resource, then the community population grows and the resource will be brought under increasing strain. See, this is the problem with owning the community right, but anyhow, we have to educate this community to use them sustainably and to control their population too. Apart from these three solutions, is there any fourth solution? Yes, we have a fourth solution. Worldwide environmental law, the standard solution adopted in general is called Liviathon. Okay, so this one was introduced by Eleanor Ostrom. In fact, chronicled this. She discovered that many societies around the world and over time, in fact, have common that they have managed effectively. You can take in villages, we have ponds, right? they maintain these pots very effectively. They have managed to maintain it very effectively. They may have one pond only for drinking water. They may have another pond for bathing, and for another pond they may have for animal, for cattle, and they maintain it in a very effectively. So put another way, it did not collapse. Okay, so the villagers did not allow the system to get collapsed. So this is the state, or the strong point is called Liviathon. What is it? We can see it and in detail in the who and all has adopted this Liviathon. It is United States, Western Europe, Japan, and many developed countries, right? Let us understand how the tragedy of common happens in a given pasture land or for any given common. Let us consider herderer A and herderer B share a pasture land. Okay. And if they cooperate with each other, what happens? If they defect each other, what happens? Let us observe it. Right? So, when herder A and herder B cooperate with each other, let us say they get 10 points. Okay, their profit is 10. So, each gets 10. It means 50% each get the profit. 50-50 profit they get. If herderer A and herderer B both are defective, okay, both are cheating each other, then both of them will get 0, 0. There won't be any profit at all. If A is playing, cooperating, and B is defective, it means B gets a profit of 11. Instead of 10, he gets a profit of 11, and he creates a loss to herderer A, who is called as a sucker. Right? Sucker gets -1. On the other hand, if herderer A defeats the other one, cheats the other person, then he gets a profit of 11, and other one, the sucker, gets the profit of -1. Okay. Out of this 4 quadrant, which is likely to happen? If both of them cooperate, then each will get 10 on 10. Okay. If the one person thinks that the other may cheat him. Okay, if other is cheating him, he may get -1. But instead, if both of them are left out as cheater, then both get 0, which is better than -1, right? So, let us understand this scenario in the other way. So, temptation to defect is the highest payoff. So, one who gets the highest payoff is one who is cheating the other, if other is cooperating. So, if that happens, then the fellow is happy, he gets the highest payoff. Okay, mutually cooperating with each other, then the reward is 10. Each gets a payoff of 10. And punishment for mutual defection is third highest, which is 0. And sucker payoff is the lowest, which is -1. So in either of the case, 0 is better than -1. If the other is cooperative, we get 11, which is better than 10. So highest is temptation, then next is rewarding, and next is punishment, and last one is succor. No one wants to be a succor, so that he gets the least. Okay, so everybody tries to cheat or defeat the other, so they will land up with 0, 0, right? That is 0 profit, which is better than -1. Instead of having a loss, this is better state. So this plot, if you go by this plot, it will end up with 0, 0, right? Now let us understand the Liviathon plot. So here we have herderer A, herderer B. When they cooperate, when they are defect. So what happens? So when they cooperate, the first quadrant is 10 on 10. there is no change in it, both gets equal profit, right? If both turn out to be defect, then what is this? Here a Liviathon punishment is imposed on them since they are defect, so they get a payoff of -2 so they have to pay additional money and they lose their money. Say if the herderer A is cooperating and herderer B is defect, then herderer B is supposed to get 11 because he is cheating A. Okay, in 11, since he is defective and he is a cheater, so a punishment is imposed which is -2. So 11 -2 turns out to be 9, and the other one is sucker, so he gets -1. Okay. On the other side, herderer A is defective, then he gets 11. Punishment is -2, which is 9, comma. Since B is sucker, so he gets -1. There's a loss in it. Now let us compare all the 4 quadrant now. Right. So highest reward is 10 on 10 when they cooperate. So this is the intelligent quadrant now. Since highest reward is 10 on 10. Okay, temptation reward turns out to be 1 less than highest reward, that is 9. In whatever case, highest reward is the best. Okay, if they are sucker, then it is -1. If both are defective, then it is -2. It is better to be sucker than be defective, where the loss is higher and it is defective is -1, but it is far better to be having a highest reward of 10 on 10. So out of this 4 quadrant, when the punishment is imposed, Liviathon concept, when the punishment is imposed, then the best quadrant is 10, 10. So our reward is the highest, then comes temptation, then comes succor, then comes punishment. Punishment is being heavier. There is no punishment, then everybody will like to start sucking the other person. So Liviathon concept helps the intelligent person to think over it and live according to the first quadrant, cooperate with the other one for any commons which we are, right? So this, I could feel that this could be a best solution. This fourth solution is the best solution, right? Thank you. I hope you have understood the Liviathon concept on tragedy of common.